sometimes. Okay, do you want to stand there? I'll make sure it's looking at you right. Like the guns in the background. Someone's already here. Cool. Take care of the screaming children. No one wants to TV. Hold on, babe. I'm gonna talk to you.
Hey, lady. Oh, mine's turned down. Where are we at here?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Where is she?
Upstairs.
Okay.
Alrighty. Zoom user, huh? I wonder who this is. You gotta make sure.
Allison.
Allison!
Sorry.
Awesome.
I'm not going to have my picture on.
Can you hear us okay?
Perfect. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. That's like 1 minute off.
Can do a background.
Hey, how are you doing, Brooke?
You're gonna see a hole in my wall. Cover it up. Oh well. I just had to point it out.
No worries. Okay. Let's see if you can see our table at all. That's kind of cool. All right.
That's nice. Look at that kit.
Oh, it's making me add everybody.
Wait till you see all our new toys that Allison and I bought.
Ooh, yeah.
We bought all sorts of just fun little things for backpacking.
I want to see all your toys. Okay. Yay, welcome, Judy. Can you hear us, Judy? Yeah, cool. Awesome. We can go back and forth if we keep seeing people too. This is being recorded, by the way, ladies, so all of this will just, whatever we talk about will be on, we're going to be able to post it. We figured it out, so just so you're aware.
Where does it say that more people are coming?
It'll pop up a little box at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Can you see stuff okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. We'll probably have some more gals join. If they do, we're going to switch back and forth. Otherwise, this is recorded so people can watch it whenever. And we have a lot of cool things to talk about, so we're just going to go right into it. I wanted to just first off say welcome, and this is our first ever, so we'll see how this goes, and hopefully we're going to be doing these monthly. There's always going to be a first aid component first, and then there'll be a skills component second. And hopefully when COVID gets better, the second component, even the first, might be more hands-on, and that'll be really neat. So hopefully you guys will like that. And this is for anyone, but especially our assistant guides to kind of, we're doing a crash course of assistant guide training right now, but we're going to keep doing these throughout the next year. So you'll be able to, you know, brush up on your first aid stuff and anything that you may have forgotten just throughout the next year. So that's kind of the idea, is it'll be kind of like our continuing education classes that are optional, whatever. So to get started, so we're today on first aid, we're going to be talking about first aid kits. And we put a couple lists on documents on the Facebook page. So feel free to check those out if we refer to things like that. All the stuff is going to be on the Facebook page. So the first kits we wanted to talk about, oh, and we're going to be talking about things for about 20 minutes or so. Then we're going to leave it up for about 5 minutes for questions at the end. And so at that point, you know, at the end, then you can ask your questions and we can have a little banter back and forth. And especially with this first session, we're going to try and end a few minutes before 8:30, so we have time to like clear this off and put all the rest of our stuff on for the next presentation. So yeah, it is. So I'm going to just talk first off the kid first aid kits. They are, my little girl just has a cute little camelback, and then basically I have a whistle, which I think is the most important thing for kids, is to have a whistle and know how to use it appropriately. Hers has some other knicky-knacks like a thermometer and compass that she doesn't know how to use, but whistle is important and that they can get to it easily. Hers is just clipped on the little shoulder strap of her pack. And then you want to have the second item for kids, I recommend, is just a little basic first aid kit, mostly that has like Band-Aids, alcohol wipes, anti-sting wipes, just a few things, maybe some Neosporin, just basic things that you think like your kid, you know their age, what they could like do and use safely. As they get older, this gets bigger. And then my third item I always like to have is an emergency blanket. So this takes care of their shelter. You could also add in an emergency poncho as well, and you can use that for your, in case the climate's change. But those are like your 3 basic things for kids. So that would be whistle, emergency shelter, poncho, first aid kit. And then also Erin had suggested an emergency card. If you've got littles who have no idea what their phone number is or address, that's kind of nice to like stick that in a Ziploc bag in their kit. And then that is their kit, and then they can pack whatever else crap they want to put in there, like stuffed animals, whatever. So those are kid kits. All right, and then I just wanted to show you my basic hiking pack that I use, my first aid survival kit. Survival kits are kind of like a first aid kit plus stuff that in case you had to spend the night, that you'd be okay. So the first important thing would be to have stuff for fire and heat. You're going to freeze all night. I have some just stuff to start a fire, like tinder, kindling, well, mostly kindling, just cottonwood fuzz. Cotton balls work good. Then I have I actually have 3 fire starters. So I've got a lighter, I've got matches, and I put them in a film canister to keep them waterproof. And then I've got flint and steel too. This is good if you know how to use it. So hopefully if you don't know how to use it, it may not be so helpful. So I've got at least 2 and possibly 3 fire starters. Then I want water, something that can help me with water. So I carry iodine tablets, and then I also have chlorine tablets. You can do whatever works for you. But something to clean your water. Welcome all you ladies, by the way. So excited that you're all joining us. All right. It's recorded, by the way, so just remember that in your comments when we're going to ask questions at the end. Then I also have medications, ibuprofen, or whatever else you guys are going to need, inhalers, etc. Emergency shelter, just like the kid. Whistle, just like the kid. First aid, you know, you're going to have your Band-Aids and all that kind of stuff. I like to have hand warmers and also a cold pack in case you needed to have something for an emergency. I use a mirror as like a life-saving device. Yeah, signaling device, or to help you get stuff out of your whatever. I use cordage. This is just, you can get it anywhere, but this is for like making a shelter if you needed to, hanging a bag of food or something like that. I've got medical tape that you can use for everything, you know, or you can use duct tape if you want, but blisters, but just to fix things that fall apart on the trail. I like to have like a snack in here, and also like something like a Propel little powder packet, just in case my electrolytes, I'm getting zonky, and I always keep one of these in here too. And then a multi-tool is great, a knife especially, but if you've got a multi-tool Swiss Army knife, that'll help you out of a lot of problems. I've got a flashlight with extra batteries. I carry a compass too. Compasses are great if you know how to use them, so figure out how to use them, and then good. And then I've got a bear bell if I'm anywhere that might have bears, if you're worried about that. This saved our lives in Yellowstone, by the way, just saying. Anyway, that's kind of my basic. I'm going to pass it over to Erin, and she's going to tell you the rest of her cool first aid kits.
Trip over buckets there. I've got a lot of the same things that Emily does.
Can you hear her okay?
Can you hear me okay? I don't talk as loud
Yeah.
normally.
You're good.
Okay. So I have a couple different basic first aid kits that I just keep in my backpack all the time. I have one that I keep in the car that I use quite frequently when I'm out and about with my kids. One thing that that I have in here is Dramamine for when we go on windy mountain roads. That's helped them. I guess for
Let's get right here, yeah. Your basic stuff.
the basic stuff. Okay. So I have a teeny tiny CPR mask in case I have to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. First line of defense is protection for you. Don't become a second victim from whatever they have. I also have a larger size one in a hard case that I keep in the car. I have a rolled up SAM splint, so if there's a broken limb, I can make a splint. This weighs like nothing. It costs like $5. Toss it in. You're good to go on some of those more extreme activities like mountain biking or canyoneering or walking to Smith sometimes is dangerous. I've got latex gloves. Well, these are nitrile actually, but always protect yourself when you're dealing with another patient, especially if it's not a family member. I have a pulse oximeter here that will tell your heart rate and your oxygen saturation and your blood level. So this is good for helping to identify altitude sickness in hikers. I use that for TERT. When I'm up there on the mountain, I keep this other kit here with me. It's got a side of just bleed stop stuff and a side of kind of survival stuff. So if we're helping someone when we have to last the whole night, I've got supplies to help through that night a little bit more.
Anything in your survival kit that's different or in addition to what I've got in mine?
From my basic one, let me think real quick. I keep cotton balls as my fire starter because they're easy and they weigh absolutely nothing. I have safety pins for when things fall apart, your backpack zipper broke, whatever. And I keep a red bandana. I have a white one in here, but I keep a bright color bandana. So if I need to mark something, I can find it easily, or someone can find me easily. You can do like the plastic yard tape. Either one of those would work just fine. I have two different books that I keep with me. The first is a really thin. You can see that. You can put that super close.
Mm-hmm. Can you read that okay?
I think there's one person waiting. Is there one person waiting?
Mm-hmm.
This one person is waiting.
Where?
Yeah, up there.
Oh, I do that.
This just has a list of things that can go wrong, and it's a quick reference guide, a quick read to help you remember, oh yeah, this is what I do with heat stroke or heart attack or hyperventilation or eye problems or bleeding or CPR. So that's a really concise, cheap book. Maybe it was $5 to $8. And a little more extensive one I got from my wilderness first aid class, and that's in color and has nice paper that won't rip or get wet. And it goes through the same things just in more detail. Here's a section on burns, what to look for, what to do, and it goes through basically the same things as these, but a more extensive explanation and things to look for. So
Cool. Do you want to switch over?
yeah.
Next. works or volunteers at the Timpanogos Emergency Response Team. So that's what TERT stands for. And so she's got lots of cool stuff. So thank you. We're going to be using her again in the future with radio communication and some other stuff. For you ladies, for the gals that are going to be participating in the assistant guide program, we really wanted to show you some of this cool. You guys are on every trip. We'll probably get maybe 6 or 8 of these. This is going to be our emergency kit for every assistant guide. And you're just going to throw it in your pack somewhere. And it's going to have a lot of the same stuff that Erin already talked about. I posted, the file is Mountain Mama's First Aid Kits. And you're going to see a spreadsheet of just like a gazillion things. And it'll say assistant guide kits, lead guide kits, and then car kits. And there's like a billion things on there that we're going to try and beef up our first aid kits to be pretty awesome. So they're basically a lot of the stuff that Erin talked about. We've got our bandages, tons of bandages. We've got tweezers and hemostats, which are like to stop things really tight. And scissors and creams, medications. We've got your triangle bandages, CPR shields in here, medical tape, saline for eye injuries. And then we've got eye protection that also doubles as a pair of sunglasses if someone needs a pair of sunglasses. We've got Coban for wrapping up stuff, instant cold packs, heat packs, lots of padding, ABD pads and stuff like that for stopping blood, bleeding, and all that kind of stuff. So the full list of what we're going to have in these kits is on that list, that document, so you guys can check that out. But these are going to be loaded and be beefy and be able to help you in anything. And then our lead guides are going to have a bag that's a little bit bigger, and it's going to have more intense stuff. Like it's going to have, like, so one person on every trip is going to, the lead guide will have a SAM splint. They'll have the pulse ox, and they'll have the really cool CPR, bigger, beefier stuff like that. Our assistant guide kits are going to have, each of them are going to have this smaller first aid kit book that we showed you. And then the lead guides are going to have a bigger book similar to what Erin has here. So hopefully you guys are going to love that. It's going to be cool. Then we're also going to have car kits as well with Mountain Mamas. And that's going to be like a duffel bag where our lead vehicle is going to be, it'll have this pack, this just in the trunk or wherever in the vehicle. So if we come back and have to come back early because someone is hurt, it's going to have more stuff in there to also provide medical care if we need to. So just know that that's there. I did want to go over basic first aid kits and car emergency kits as well. And this is on just the first aid kit list. And it just says, you know, basic first aid kit, jumper. I've had to use every single one of these things on my stranding. Anyway, jumper cables, tow rope, flares, tire change jack, all the stuff for it to change a tire, because my car only had part of these things once. Blanket, snacks, water, flashlight, leather gloves, tools, and there's several screwdrivers, pliers, all those kind of things, wrenches, and then wire and duct tape. And I feel like with most of that, you can fix, at least get your vehicle somewhere. If you want to store a gas can that's empty, that's probably, you can do that too. So anyway, that's first aid kits, dreams and schemes. Now we can all take out personal grants to go buy all the fun toys we want to get. But anyway, yeah, Erin had a comment.
I just think maybe I'll come around. So I'm not talking from outer space, but I think the most important thing about having a first aid kit is knowing what's in it and knowing how to use it. If you've got someone that's hurt and you don't know what's in your kit or where it is, you know, you can only do so much. Not knowing, you know, what is this thing even for? What do I do with this? So practice with it. Have one of your kids pretend to be a patient and practice on them. Practice wrapping an ankle. Those are common things that we see in hiking. Another thing is to consider your current condition when you're going out. Do you already have an injury? Do you have a sore somewhere that you need to take care of?
keep that in mind as you're changing and swapping things out for your first aid kit, depending on the different activities that you're participating in. Know if you're prone to being dehydrated or you seem to be extra hungry. Plan for those things. That can make a miserable trip more enjoyable.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks. And just so you know, anyone who wants to be assistant guides, when we are able to get more in person, you'll get to play with all these kits, and we might even send them home with you for you to mess around with and stuff like that. So you'll all get to kind of see what's all in this. And when we do more hands-on, we'll play with all this stuff, so you'll kind of figure out how to use it all. So, all right, so that is our presentation. We want to open up to questions. So feel free to unmute yourselves, and you can swap back and forth on whoever can answer your questions best. Or I guess Erin's gonna unmute you, so.
Do we know when the in-person like CPR certification training thing is happening?
Marilyn is in charge of that, and
Okay.
she's working on that with Michi's husband, Brian. He's the PA, and he's licensed to be able to teach that class. So as soon as he picks a date, he'll probably come. We asked him to pick several, and we were gonna text the people that were interested. I've got all your guys' info. So yeah, we'll be sending that out hopefully as soon as we find out from him. So hopefully within the next month, we are hoping, so.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
But we can do our own CPR, right? If we wanted.
Yeah, so that you can either do your online, or if you're doing it through work or whatever. The deadline is just November 1st. Brian had just offered to teach a free class, but you do have to pay for the $20 book, so it's not really free, but yeah, and then he's hoping to do it on hands-on, depending on how COVID goes. If he has to do a Zoom meeting, he can do that too, but yeah, we're kind of waiting to see how that will go. Great questions. Anyone else? Any first aid questions, or cool things that you guys have in your first aid kits that you love, that work really good for you, that we didn't talk about?
You talked about all of it, but I know we've used allergy meds, stuff to open an airway if you.
For hogweed.
Yeah, Brooke had a response to allergies. We were very far away from anything, and it would have been a problem had we not had the stuff we needed.
Awesome.
Just letting it dissolve.
Awesome. Yeah, that's totally true. I've had to, you may have mixed feelings about this, but people use my albuterol inhaler so many times. That's just for shortness of breath on the mountain.
That's what I used first, actually. The steroids in it. Yep.
So, yeah.
They also add feminine hygiene.
Yes, tampons, pads, and you can use tampons up the nose if you have a broken nose. Just saying.
Oh, Heather does that.
Yep. Hopefully that never happens in the mountains, but it's good. Or if you had a puncture wound that was bleeding heavily, you can put just a tampon in there that helps absorb. But yeah, good call. Huh? Oh yes, and with feminine hygiene items, I just think you should pack it out. Like bring a zip, if you're on Amp Flow hanging out that week or whatever days you're up, just bring a Ziploc bag, wrap things in toilet paper. If you're doing campfires, we've done things with a paper sack and you put it in the campfire and just burn it. Whatever you're able to do with that. Good question. Wet wipes are awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right, any other thoughts, questions? Sweet. All right, well, you guys made our first one easy. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we'll end this conference, or this clinic, whatever this is we're doing. And then we'll restart at 8:30. We're just gonna have to we'll put this stuff away, and then we'll bring up a whole new set of cool stuff. If you want to pull up on one of those documents that I uploaded was our, just the outline of what we're talking about today. And there's a backpacking section that has some cool links on stuff to use for food and things like that. So feel free to take a look at that. And then we will join you in like 8-9 minutes. Thank you. End the meeting.